It sounds almost too loud. I'm not sure. Give me 1 second. All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is Monday Night Yoga in Carondelet Park. My name is Amber, and I'm glad to see some new faces and familiar faces. Thank you all for coming out. Tonight we're going to be doing a class focused on making space in our body. I did a class recently, and I never thought about this, that sometimes stretches and sometimes movements, we can make more space in our body. Like sometimes our body feels so rigid and tight, and when we stretch it, we feel like we expand almost. We feel like we feel looser and can move around more freely. And definitely that's one of the reasons why I do yoga. I want to be mobile when I'm 95. I want to be climbing mountains when I'm 80. I don't want to be like stuck in a chair, but you know, by doing yoga, definitely. We want to keep our joints young. We want to keep movements in our body. And I also do it for the meditative purpose too, to just take an hour for myself to just find peace and acceptance and make space for good things to happen in that hour. So tonight, if you can, kind of carry that theme with you of making space for something good, making space for new movements, and letting go of things that don't serve you, whether it's stress, whether it's tension, whether it's negative thinking, all those things we can try to just let go during this hour if you choose. So we're going to start on our feet, and I'm going to start the music here. Give me 1 second. All right. Tonight we're going to start by just rocking back and forth on our feet to try to find a balanced spot. So you can find a place mid yoga mat here, and just rock back and forth, spreading your toes out wide, finding the ball of your foot, finding the heel of your foot, and just finding where that center grounded spot might be for you. And as a reminder also tonight, if anything hurts your body, back out of it, don't do it. I want you to listen to your body. I might be up here saying different things to try, but you're the expert of your body. Once you find a spot that's somewhere in the middle of the ball of the foot and the heel, really ground down and spread out your toes as wide as you can and grip the mat underneath you. We're going to focus on going up from our feet to feel grounded into the earth. You can even imagine like roots growing out of your feet and grounding you into the earth, making you more stable. Think about your ankles here for a moment. Maybe sliding side to side, sliding forward with your feet grounded, just recognizing what your ankles can do here. And then just really strengthening them. Going up into your calf muscle, maybe squeezing the calf muscles if you can, playing with your body, recognizing that your calves exist in this moment in time. Bringing strength to those calves. Going up your body a little bit more. Thinking about your thighs and your glutes, being aware of them, and also bringing strength to them. I'm going to have you put your right hand on your belly. I'm going to have you take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, recognize what the changes that happen in your abdomen with each breath. So inhaling typically brings your abdomen out, and exhaling typically brings it in, the navel in towards your spine. So just noticing that change with each breath. And then take your left hand and place it on your heart. And noticing your heartbeat underneath your rib cage, behind your sternum. And once again, take a deep breath and just recognize how your heart is beating, your breath is expanding your belly, your exhale is making your belly button sink in towards your spine. All those awesome things are moving together. Take your shoulders and roll them up towards your ears, and then roll them back and down. And then lift your head just a little bit so that you're looking up maybe at the trees or the sky above you. And we're going to take a couple of mindful breaths. So we're going to inhale as much as you can into your belly, into your rib cage, into your chest, really taking in as much oxygen as you can, and then holding it. And then exhale, letting your chest sink, rib cage, and belly sink. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And exhale. 1, 2, 3. We'll do that 3 more times at your own pace or with me. So inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And exhale. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Feeling the expansion, holding that breath inside you as your lungs are expanded to their maximum capacity. And then exhaling. 1, 2, 3. I think one more actually. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. And with this exhale, really thinking about letting go of whatever is buzzing around your mind that you just don't want to focus on for this hour, that you just want to leave aside while you focus on yourself and your body. So exhale that out if you can imagine that. Awesome. So during this yoga hour, definitely keep the breath going. If you feel like you're getting too hot, if you feel like you just don't know what to do or your body doesn't feel right, breathe through it. And then back out of any pain. So let's go ahead and start moving. So we're going to sync breath with movement. With an inhale, bring the fingertips up. And with an exhale, palms facing forward, slowly roll the fingertips down towards the mat underneath you. There's no right or wrong answer here, but we do want to just kind of release our head and neck towards the mat, release our fingers towards the mat. If you can touch the mat underneath you, great. If not, no worries. This is called a forward fold. And we're going to bend our right knee in this forward fold, bend our left knee, and just let our body sway back and forth for a second. Breathing and bending one knee at a time while hinging at the hips, letting our hips rise up to the sky and letting our head and neck fall towards the earth. All right, coming to a straight leg or almost straight-legged position, we're going to slowly roll up our body, one vertebrae at a time, lifting up our torso and lifting up our head to look forward again. We're going to do that again. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, palms facing forward, forward fold. Maybe shifting into the right knee, shifting into the left knee. And then slowly rolling up once again to facing forward. Head is reaching up towards the sky. All right, let's add a couple of more movements. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold just like we did. This time we're going to inhale and draw our hands up to our thighs, flat back, drawing our shoulder blades together and just looking forward at the ground. So halfway lift. Hold it here and take a couple of breaths, squeezing those shoulder blades together, feeling strong through the shoulders, squeezing the abs as well in the core, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms out wide to the side and slowly roll up once again. Fingertips come all the way to the sky. Reaching, making our body as tall as possible. Tonight I'll talk about lifting your head up to the sky, so it's something we don't normally think of, but just trying to keep your spine as straight as possible by lifting through the top of the head. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out wide, reaching to the right and left, and raise them up to the sky with an inhale. Awesome. We're going to drop one arm, we're going to drop the left arm and reach it down to our side. Right arm reaches up and then cross over the top of your body and reach over to the left side. With all these movements, you can always play with it. Sometimes it doesn't feel good until I move and shift around, maybe drawing my arm back a little bit further behind my ear. Just play with your body, see what feels good, what gives you the good stretch tonight. Inhale, raise that arm up, And we're gonna go ahead and take that arm and rest it on our hip, and then lift up the other arm. So lifting up the left arm to the sky this time. Reaching as tall as we can, like we're trying to grab something off the top shelf. And then exhale, reach it over to the right side. Once again, playing with the shoulder, maybe drawing that shoulder back, looking up at the sky. Playing with maybe rotating your pinky finger to the ground, rotating your thumb towards the ground. And inhale, reach that arm up, and let's go ahead and set that arm on our hip as well, or that hand on our hip. And then we're gonna go a slow twist to warm up our spine that way. So we're gonna first look over towards the left and behind us, and look forward. Exhale, look over to the right and behind you. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to the left. And this time, open your arms up so that your left arm is reaching behind you as you're gazing at the left fingers. Right fingers are reaching in the opposite direction. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, on your next inhale, raise the fingers up to the sky. Look forward. And then exhale, looking off over your right shoulder. Bring your arms down once again. Couple of breaths here, looking at those fingertips reaching backwards. And then on your next inhale, fingertips up towards the sky, and we're going to do that movement a little bit quicker. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, look over that left shoulder, reaching arms down. Inhale, fingertips up. And exhale, looking over the right shoulder and behind you. Do that one more time with your own breath. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, looking off behind you. Slow and low twist on your vertebrae. Reaching up and looking over the opposite shoulder. Awesome. We're going to go through some movements tonight. We're going to start standing and then slowly make our way to a sitting position and do different movements on the ground and on the mat after that. So follow me the best you can, and if you want to do something different, I support that too. But let's go ahead and start at the back of our mat. And we're going to do that same movement we did earlier. So we're going to inhale, reach up to the sky with our fingers, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees enough so that you can walk your hands forward on the mat here. We're going to walk our hands about 3/4 of the way forward, and then slowly set our knees on the ground, making a tabletop position. All right, in this tabletop position, we're going to do a couple of cat-cows and then work our way up to a low lunge. So if you're familiar with cow pose, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, looking up at the sky, dropping our core, our belly button towards the mat, bringing a slight back bend into a slight curve into our lower back. And then as we exhale, we push down through our hands, lift up through our upper back, chin comes to our chest, coming into a cat pose. So this is called flexion and extension of the vertebrae. So we're moving it one way, inhaling, dropping the spine down towards the mat and the belly towards the mat. And exhale, we're drawing our core up into us, into cat pose, moving our spine in the opposite direction. Making space in between each vertebrae. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. All right. Let's come to a neutral tabletop position. And we're going to slowly hug. We're going to shift our weight over into our left side. Really push down through the top of that left foot. And we're going to slowly lift up our right knee and hug it into our body and underneath us. So almost we can bend our nose in towards it. We're almost touching our nose to our right knee here. And exhale, kick that right heel back behind you. Think about if you could create a straight line from the top of your head all the way to your heel. Think about shifting your hands or shifting your body to try to make that happen. Inhale, holding up that heel, reaching forward with the top of the head. And on your next inhale, hug that knee underneath your body, crunching those abs one more time. Exhale, kick that heel out behind you. Inhale, hug that knee in and underneath you, knee to nose. And this time, instead of kicking out behind you, we're going to step that right foot forward in between the left and the right hands. So take a moment to find your balance. Take a moment to find that place where you can slowly begin to lift your fingertips off the mat and inhale those fingertips up to the sky. So tips for balance here, pushing through that back foot really helps. Squeezing the core, squeezing the thighs together, almost like scissors. That also helps. Let's lift up through the chest and the heart. Reaching up here. And exhale, take those fingertips back and down and back behind you. If you can, go ahead and clasp those hands together behind you. Inhale, raise up through the chest and the chin. Lifting those clasped hands away from the hips behind you and opening up through the pecs here. And shoulders. Take a couple of full breaths here. And slowly release the hands. Inhale, fingertips come down and up. And this time, bringing the fingertips back just a little bit, looking up at the sky. A slight back bend. If this hurts at all, don't do it. And exhale, hands come down to the mat on either side of the right foot. Ground down through that left hand, and we're going to lift the right fingertips up to the sky for a slow lunge twist. I got a face full of sunshine right now. That feels good. Reach up through those right fingertips, push down through the ball of the right foot. Inhale, and then reach that right hand forward, reaching it past your head towards the front of the mat. Feeling that stretch all the way from maybe the lower spine, the hip, all the way to the tip of the fingers. And exhale, take that hand down to the right side of the right foot. And then we're gonna shift our weight over into that right hand and just twist in the opposite way. So we're gonna lift our left hand this time towards the sky. Hello. Inhale here. And exhale, hand comes down to the mat. We're gonna do a good hamstring stretch here called half splits. So if you're not familiar with it, what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk our hands back towards that back knee, slowly straightening out the front leg, bringing our hip towards that back left heel. We're gonna try to straighten out the front leg and lift the toes off the mat. This is where it comes tricky. Sometimes having blocks do help just get our body a little more upright. But if you can dig your fingertips into the mat here, or lift your torso and rest your hands on your upper thigh also is a different position. So, looks good. Really draw those toes up towards your face. And breathe. Breathe into the tension. Maybe imagining that you're making more space in that muscle. You're stretching and expanding it. Good old hamstrings. And then when you're ready, slowly exhale, coming down to the mat with your fingertips, walking those hands forward. Sole of your foot comes down to the mat. We're gonna wiggle walk that foot forward just a little bit more, maybe 1 foot size in front of where it just was. And then we're gonna walk our hands also to meet that same place in our mat. So toes and fingertips all in the same line. Let's go ahead and bring our right hand to the inside of our right foot. So both hands are to the left of the right foot. Hug that right knee into our body, and we're gonna shift forward and down. So really bend as much as you can into that right knee. Feeling the stretch through the hip flexors here. Coming into what's called a lizard pose. If you need more space or your leg just feels a little awkward, you can always walk that leg out just a little bit for a little more space. With lizard, there's a couple of variations. We can push our hands into the mat like we are right now, or come down to our forearms for a deeper stretch. For another advanced technique, you can also tuck those toes behind you and lift that back knee off the mat too, if you just want a little extra challenge tonight. And these are all options, not have-tos. Take a couple of more breaths here in lizard pose. And then slowly come up, if you are on your forearms, come up to your hands. We're gonna walk that right foot back. Bring that knee back into alignment, into a tabletop position that we were in earlier. So knees underneath hips and wrists underneath shoulders here in tabletop. Let's take a moment and touch our toes behind us, take our knees out to the side of the mat. Send our hips back and down into a child's pose position. So hips come to possibly rest right on your heels or a little bit above your heels. And then walk your hands out a little further so that your head and your forehead can possibly touch the mat below you. A lot of yoga poses are opposite. Sometimes when we stretch in one way, we want to stretch in the opposite way to just balance out those movements. Just like we bend forward, bend backwards, bend to the right, bend to the left. A big principle of yoga is balance. So rest is also a part of that balance. Breathing here, feeling the inhale possibly by feeling your abdomen expand and touch your thighs as you inhale and exhale here. Taking a moment to maybe notice your heart rate has possibly increased since we started. Maybe the heat in your body also has increased. Inhale, let's slowly lift our hips off our heels, coming through tabletop once again. And this time we're gonna slowly start to hug our left knee underneath our body and do those same movements that we just did on the right side. So inhale, let's hug our left knee underneath us, crunching our abs, maybe trying to reach our nose to our knee here, making everything tense, tense, tense. And then exhale, we're gonna kick that left heel back behind us. Trying to create that straight line from the heel all the way to the top of your head. Breathing and holding it here. And then on your next inhale, once again, hugging that knee underneath your body, tucking it in, crunching your abs, knee to nose. Exhale, kick that left heel back behind you like you're kicking a wall. And this time, inhale, hug that left knee underneath you. And then we're gonna step it forward with your exhale. So try to step that left foot forward in between the right and left hands. Coax it, talk to it nice, make it happen. Find your balance here by pushing through the top of the right foot. Inhale, fingertips come up into a low lunge. Inhale, and then exhale, send the fingertips down and back. Clasp the hands if that feels good to you. And inhale, drawing with the chest and the chin up to the sky. Feeling that awesome breeze. Oh yes. Taking a couple of breaths here. Slowly letting go the clasped hands behind you. And then inhale, take the fingertips down and up. Exhale here, and then with your next inhale, looking up the sky and reaching those hands just a little bit behind your head. Slight back bend happening if it feels good. And then exhale, slowly bringing your hands down to the mat on either side of that foot. We're gonna ground down through the right hand, really spreading those fingers wide, gripping the mat underneath you. And inhale the left fingertips up to the sky. Reaching, expanding. On your next inhale, reach those fingertips forward towards the front of your mat. The side of your bicep should be by your face or your ear. feeling that stretch maybe all the way from the hip bone to the fingertips, down the side of the body. And then exhale, slowly letting that left hand ground down into the mat. Pressing through the left hand, we're going to inhale and reach up with the right fingertips this time. A little bit different of a stretch here. We can take the fingertips and reach them up, or bend through that right elbow and take that hand to your lower back and draw that shoulder back and your gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, slowly let that right hand grab onto the mat underneath you again. And we're going to go into that half splits position like we did on the other side. So we're going to walk our hands slowly back towards our back knee, bringing our hips down just a little bit towards that right heel, straightening the left leg and drawing the left toes up off the mat and towards our face. So once again, maybe pushing down through the fingertips in the mat, or coming up with your hands resting on your upper thigh. And breathing. With all these movements, sometimes I have to move my leg or shift my body a different way to just feel a little more comfortable, and please know that that is absolutely what I want you to do too. Find what feels comfortable for you. Half splits isn't necessarily comfortable, but keep breathing, we're almost done. And exhale, slowly bring both hands down to the mat. Bring the sole of your foot down to the mat. Walk your hands forward. And then we're going to take both hands and bring them to the inside of the left foot. So both of my hands are to the right of the left. Wiggle, walk that toe forward, the foot forward about 1 footprint. Walk the hands forward about 1 handprint. And then we're going to really bend through that left knee. Shift the hips forward and down. Lizard pose once again. Maybe coming down to your forearms if that's what you want to do today. Maybe tucking that back foot and lifting that back knee off the ground for an extra fun challenge. Or maybe just staying here in lizard pose and pushing your hands down into the mat. Your choice. Keep breathing. Sometimes these movements bring tension in our body because those places are a little tight. So definitely know that the breath can loosen some of that tension. These stretches are slow to happen sometimes, but by breathing, we're bringing oxygen to the muscles, bringing relaxation to our body sometimes. All right, let's slowly walk our hands back, walk that right foot back, and come into that tabletop position once again. We're going to touch our toes together, bring our knees out wide, and come into a child's pose. So toes are touching, knees are out wide, and then we send our hips back and down towards our heels. Walk forward with our hands, and possibly let our forehead rest on the mat underneath us. Take a moment to do that, or if you need to take a drink, you can also do that. With an inhale, lifting your hips up from your heels, coming through tabletop. And we're going to slowly make our way to a standing position. And how we'll do that is a fun way. We'll do it by going through downward dog first. So from tabletop position, let's tuck our toes behind us. Almost like we're getting ready to start a sprint and we're at the starting blocks here. We're going to spread wide through our fingertips, inhaling here. And exhale, push down through your hands, lift your knees off the mat, send your hips up to the sky, and then bring your heels down towards the earth as much as you can. So we're hinging at the hips. We're drawing our lower abs towards our upper thighs, drawing our heels towards the earth, and then we're letting our head and neck relax here. With downward dog, just like we did forward fold at the beginning, let's go ahead and bend through the right knee and bend through the left knee. Stretching those hamstrings, getting our body ready for a new movement that it maybe hasn't done for a while. All right, and with downward dog, let's go ahead and walk our toes and our feet slowly up towards our hands, coming into a forward fold position. Hang out here for a second, and then slowly with an inhale, reaching out to the right and left, we're gonna roll up one vertebrae at a time to a standing position. Awesome. Take a moment here, maybe take a drink if you need to. It is hot still. It may not be 99, but it's still St. Louis thick summer. And when you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and do a couple of more arm stretches here before we go into some more standing positions. So we're gonna inhale and reach our arms up to the sky. And this time we're gonna drop our right hand to our side. Left arm is reaching up. We're gonna bend both arms and try to see if we can meet the fingertips together in the back. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes we're just reaching towards fingertips, and that's okay. We're gonna lift through that top elbow, really lift down or reach down with the bottom elbow here, expanding through the inner shoulder, expanding through the side of the body. And then drawing your right ear towards your right shoulder as well. Inhale, reach up with the top hand and down with the bottom hand. Windmill the arms so that right arm is reaching up, left arm is reaching down. And then we're gonna once again bend at the elbows and see if we can reach the fingertips towards each other behind us. Lifting up through the top elbow, reaching down with that bottom elbow, and then drawing that left ear towards the left shoulder. And breathing. Inhale, reach up with the right arm, down with the left. And then let's go ahead and bring them to horizontal with the earth. Here in this position, we're gonna reach our left arm underneath our, start with a good shoulder hug towards ourselves. And we're gonna slowly reach into eagle arms. So lifting up with the fingertips, we're gonna touch back of the arm to back of the arm, maybe back of the hand to back of the hand here. Stay here if this feels like enough, or if you have enough flexibility, reaching around so that maybe your fingertips can touch the right palm here. Inhale, lift up with the elbows, whatever position you're at. And some people just can't reach palm to palm or fingertips to palm. That's okay. That just means you have super awesome forearms. Inhale here, feeling the expansion, feeling the space between your shoulder blades behind you. Lift those elbows. Draw the elbows and your gaze up towards the sky. And then exhale, release it. Okay. Shake it out maybe a little. And then we're gonna take our arms to the side, and this time opposite. So right arm goes underneath left arm. Give yourself a shoulder hug. Stay here or lift back of the arms to back of the arms. If you can, maybe reaching fingertips to that left palm, twisting that hand around just a little bit more. Inhale, lift those elbows up to about shoulder level if you can. Once again, feeling that expansion behind the shoulder blades. Breathing, and then lifting your gaze and the elbows up just a little bit more. Slight back bend. And then exhale, release it all out. You feel that in the shoulders? I feel that in the shoulders. All right, let's go down. We're gonna go through a couple of movements that involve some planks. So at any time, there's the modification for planks. If you don't want to keep straight legs behind you, bend your knees and drop your knees to the mat, and I'll show you that. So let's meet at the front of the mat this time. All right. Inhale, reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, palms facing forward, forward fold, reaching those hands down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades together. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees generously so that palms of the hands can touch the mat right in front of your toes. And then we're going to step back with our right foot, step back with our left foot into what's called a plank position. And so the modification, once again, is to drop your knees. It's not quite tabletop position, it's more of a diagonal with your body when you drop the knees. So wherever you're at, if you want to be in a full plank here, go ahead and push those heels back towards the back of the mat. Squeeze the core in and up. We're going to do this and keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower down. Lock those elbows into your side and lower down your whole body to the mat. My face is in the grass. Hello, grass. Inhale up here, lifting through your shoulders and through your gaze is lifted up. And then exhale, tuck the toes behind you. Push down through your hands and lift your hips up and back into downward dog. All right. Once again, finding an angle, maybe walking your feet forward or walking your hands back just to find what's comfortable for your body here. Here in downward dog, we're going to spread our hands wide, spread those fingers as wide, and grip the mat underneath you. I'm sliding just a little bit because of sweat, so gripping the mat helps me. We're going to inhale and hug that right knee in and underneath us. And exhale, kick that right heel up towards the sky. Stay here and keep breathing, or if you want to, bend through that right knee and lift the right hip up towards the sky, opening up your downward dog towards the right side of your mat. If Wild Thing is in your practice, you can try Wild Thing by just going ahead and setting that right foot down, lifting up through the right hand. It's almost like you flip your body completely around. That one's pretty wild. You don't have to try that tonight if you're a beginner. Inhale and exhale. Let's go ahead and bring that knee underneath us and step that right foot forward in between the right and left hands. We're going to find our balance here just like we did in low lunge, and inhale, fingertips come up. Whoop. Hairs everywhere. Inhale, reaching up with the hands. Sending that back heel down towards the earth as much as we can. Exhale, fingertips come down towards the mat and behind you. Bend through that front knee to find balance. And inhale, fingertips come up. And this time, let's go ahead and set that back foot down flat on the mat at a 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle, whatever's comfortable for you. All right. Coming here in Warrior One position, reaching up. Let's go ahead and inhale, straighten that front leg. Take the bend out of that front knee, and then we're going to take our fingertips and reach them forward towards the front of our mat. Staying at just a halfway position here, maybe just reaching forward with those fingertips. If this feels like enough, stay here. Or if you want to take the hands all the way down towards that right ankle into a pyramid pose, give it a try, see what your body is wanting to do tonight. Breathe here in pyramid pose, a couple of good deep breaths. And then inhale, slowly reach up towards the front of your mat again. And then reach those fingertips all the way up to the sky, enjoying that breeze. Bring the bend back to that front leg. We're going to open up our arms to the side of our mat. And then we're going to shift the right arm forward. So right fingertips are reaching forward, left fingertips are reaching back here. coming into a warrior two position. So a little bit different here. All right, feeling that great breeze. Let's go ahead and inhale, take the bend out of that front knee. Reach those right fingertips forward and reach those right fingertips down towards the mat or pressing in the back of the hand into the calf. Reaching up with the left fingertips towards the sky. Trying to create a line from fingertips to fingertip. And then also thinking about that diagonal line that exists from your left heel all the way to the top of the head. Triangle pose sometimes sends me off balance, and that's okay. If you ever fall or feel wobbly, just reset, go into it again, see if it feels better the second time. Inhale, lift the torso, raise the arms horizontal to the earth once again, and bring the bend back to that front knee. Trying warrior two pose. All right, let's do a couple of reverse warriors and extended side angles. So front fingertips reach up and over the head, reaching towards the back of the mat. Back hand holds on to your thigh and kind of slides down your thigh. You can always bend that left arm and rest the hand on your lower back. This one's called Reverse Warrior. Take a good breath here. And on your next exhale, let's bend that front forearm. Bring the front forearm to the top of the thigh. And left arm reaches up and over the head this time. This one's called Extended Side Angle. So once again, thinking about that diagonal line all the way from the tips of the fingers to the side of that left foot. Reaching, expanding, creating space in the side of the body. Inhale, reach up. Reverse warrior once again with an inhale. And on your exhale, find that extended side angle once again. It's almost like a back and forth windmill motion. Inhale, reverse warrior. Once again, windmilling the arms back, reaching, looking up at the sky, and exhaling, bending that front forearm, letting it rest on the right thigh, and reaching over the top of the head with the left fingertips. A lot of times we dump all of our weight into that front thigh. Be aware of still pressing through that back foot, finding balance. And inhale, come through warrior two once again, bringing the arms up. And we're going to do a little pump action here. So bending through that right knee, bring enough momentum so that you can bring the left foot up to meet the right at the front of the mat. It feels like a ninja move. Take a drink if you need to, take a breath. We're going to do those movements on the other side and then go down to our backs. Ninja. All right. Inhale, raise those fingertips to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, palms facing forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Draw those shoulder blades together. Exhale, forward fold. Reach it down to the mat. Bend through the knees enough that you can press your palms into the mat in front of your feet. This time, step back with your left foot. Step back with your right foot, coming into that plank position. Once again, if this is your beginner's class tonight, your first class in 10 years, drop those knees and just take it easy on your body. Even if you just don't feel like doing planks tonight, drop those knees if you want to. Otherwise, stay here. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down, lock those elbows into your body. Maybe there's a plop, that's okay. All right, inhale here. We're gonna lift through the shoulders and the chest, drawing the gaze up, cobra pose. And then tuck those toes behind you, push down through the hands, and meet me in downward dog by lifting the hips up and back. That one was always tricky for me for my first yoga classes. I was like, what? How did she get there? What? So we're hinging at the hips, shifting those heels down towards the earth here, pushing through the hands, letting our head and neck just hang loose. Let's go ahead and shift our weight over into our right foot. Inhale, hug our left knee underneath us, squeezing in the core, maybe touching our nose or trying to touch our nose to our knee here. And exhale, send that left heel up towards the sky. Stay here and breathe. Or if you want to, bend through the left knee and lift the left hip up towards the sky. If it's in your practice and if you want to try something new tonight, there's a thing called Wild Thing, where you actually lift your left hand off the mat, send your left foot down to the earth, and reach up through the left hand. That one's a little tricky. You can try it, no worries. I'm not judging. I can't even see you, I'm backwards. Inhale here, wherever you're at. Maybe coming back, if you're in Wild Thing, coming back with your heel up towards the sky. And then we're gonna shift that left knee underneath us and step forward with the left foot in between the right and left hands. Sometimes it's fun to play with our bodies and try new things. Sometimes it's like, nope, not tonight. Inhale, fingertips up, coming through a high lunge this time. Finding your balance by pushing through that back heel, squeezing through the legs, engaging the core. Inhale, exhale, fingertips come down and back. Maybe clasping the hands behind you once again. If that feels comfortable, and inhale, looking up at the sky. On your next exhale, unclasping the hands, fingertips reach down and up with an inhale. And go ahead and send that back foot down to the mat at a 45-degree angle so that it's flat on the earth, pressing into the earth. If there was an invisible line going through the heel of one foot into the other, like imagine there's an invisible line going through the back of your left heel into your right heel. So both feet are kind of on that same line. So just check what's going on underneath you here. All right, warrior one, breathe. Inhale, take the bend out of that front knee. Reach those hands forward and down. Coming into a pyramid pose, stay here if this feels comfortable, or reaching all the way down to your left ankle. Breathe here. Inhale, reaching those fingertips up once again, forward, and then all the way to the sky. Bring the bend back to that front knee. Arms come down to the side, and then we shift those left fingers forward and right fingers back as we open up our hips over to the right side of our mat this time. Warrior two pose. With Warrior two, one thing to think about is really pressing through the ball of your left foot, pushing through the pinky edge of your right foot, engaging that core, and also drawing those shoulder blades together behind you. Hey, hey, there's honks of encouragement. Inhale, take the bend out of that front left knee. Reach forward with the left fingertips and down with the left fingertips towards the mat, or resting the back of your hand on your calf. Coming into a triangle pose. Reach up with your right fingertips to the sky. Left fingertips are reaching down towards the earth. Finding balance. Maybe we're wavering a little bit here. Maybe balance is not easy tonight. But be easy on yourself. Sometimes some things are easy one day and they're not easy the next day. Our state of mind sometimes makes things easy or not easy. Inhale, reaching up with your arms again, horizontal to the earth. And then bring that bend back to that front leg. We're going to go into a couple of reverse warriors and extended side angles. So front fingertips reach up over our head and behind as we let our right hand slide down our back thigh. Or you can also bend that back right arm and just touch the back of your back. Take a couple of full breaths here. Reverse warrior. And then with your next exhale, bend that left forearm meets left thigh, and right fingertips reach up and overhead towards the front of the mat. Couple of breaths here. And then inhale, windmilling those arms back into reverse warrior. Exhale, windmilling the arms forward, extended side angle. Looking good. One more time with your breath. Inhale, windmilling those arms back. And exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, arms come horizontal to the earth once again, warrior two. And then we're gonna bend through that front knee a couple of times to gain momentum. And we're gonna step that right foot, there's a V right there. We're gonna step that right foot to meet the left foot at the front of the mat. I had a bee friend that wanted to be right by my foot. Not tonight, friend. All right, let's do a balance pose and then come down to our mat here. So tonight's balance pose is gonna be I would say a simple one, but balance poses are always challenging. So let's go ahead and spread our feet about hips width apart here. So we don't want our feet exactly together here underneath us. Spread the toes out wide, grip the mat underneath you. Inhale, draw the shoulders up and back. And let's take one more big inhale, feeling the expansion that happens through our belly. And then exhale, feeling that belly button maybe draw in just a little bit towards the spine. Inhale, reach up with our fingertips. And then we're gonna sit back in an invisible chair. You get to decide how tall your chair is. Your chair can be 3 inches tall, your chair can be pretty tall. So find what's comfortable for you. Here's the balance part. We're gonna come up with our left tippy toes, up to our left tippy toes. So left knee is bent out in front of us. We're sitting on that invisible chair. Stay here if you want to, or see if you can lift that left ankle and drop it right above the right knee so that we can create, it's almost like a number 4 with our body. Once again, stay here on the left tippy toes if that feels good enough, because that's creating some tension in our body and balance. Or once again, lifting up with the left ankle right on top of the left knee. Finding some blade of grass in front of you to stare at. Feeling the wobbles in your ankle and your leg maybe here. Breathing. And then inhaling, standing up and shaking it out. So giving things a try tonight. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, no worries. Inhale once again, reaching up towards the sky. Feeling strong, feeling tall. Exhale, sit back in that invisible chair. You decide how tall your chair is. Come up to the tippy toes of your right foot. Maybe that's good enough. Or if you want to, lift that right ankle, rest it right above the left knee. Making a kind of a number 4 with your body here. Reaching up, but also just finding some place in front of you to just stare at the ground. A meditative gaze, they call it. Because looking up and all around sometimes usually throws our balance off. Inhale, feeling the strength, maybe feeling some tremors in the leg, that's okay too. Inhale, reach it all up and step it all out, shake it out. Awesome. Let's go ahead and go down to a seated position here on our mat. So hips are about halfway. And we're gonna go ahead and set our feet in front of us, knees are bent. All right, we're gonna do a couple of movements here before we go on our backs. So the first movement that we wanna do is we wanna just go ahead and take our left hand and touch our left knee, or touch our right knee. Bring our right hand up towards the sky, and then back behind us. Let's ground that right hand right behind the right hip. Inhale, draw up through the top of the head, and bring the gaze behind you, over that right shoulder. Stay here, or if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can always take that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Fingertips reach up. Thinking about twisting through your lower spine, creating space, moving, creating more mobility. Inhale, looking forward. Let's take our right hand to our left knee this time. Left fingertips reach up and behind you. Ground down with your right palm behind your left palm behind your left hip. Draw your gaze over that left shoulder. And think about reaching up with the top of the head, straightening that spine from the top of the head to the base of the spine. You can always take that elbow, right elbow to the outside of the left knee and bring those fingertips up. Keep breathing and inhale, looking forward. All right, we're going to slowly come down to our backs. Let's go ahead and reach our fingertips forward. And then using our core, we're going to slowly lean back at a 45-degree angle, almost like we're sitting in one of those Adirondack chairs. And then using our core just a little bit more, leaning a little bit further back. See how far you can take it before your body's like, I need to flop. Take it slow and controlled. See if you can roll down onto your back. Oh, and maybe there is a flop point, that's okay. All right, so we're here with our knees bent and our back onto our mat. Maybe you need to adjust your body so that your head isn't in the grass. Let's go ahead and hug our knees in towards our body. Maybe bringing our nose up to our knees here, creating a tight ball with our body. And maybe rocking to the right and rocking to the left here, rocking forward and back. We're going to go ahead and inhale, hug our knees in as tight as we can, and then send our knees off to the right side of our mat. We're going to open up our arms to a T position. So reaching out to the right and left side. Knees are reaching over to the right side. Inhale, the knees up towards the center. And exhale, the knees off to the left side of the body, the left side of the mat. One of those things. Arms are still reaching out to the side. One thing I like to do when my knees are facing one direction, I draw my gaze in the opposite direction. So my knees are off to the left and I look over to the right fingertips. Inhale, knees up into our body once again. And exhale, we're going to send the soles of our feet up to the sky, straightening out our legs as much as we can, and then holding the back of our thighs to support our legs as they reach up towards the sky. It's almost like we're stepping on the sky or stepping on the trees, whatever you see above you. Holding this here, activating the core still to keep the legs lifted. And then slowly letting go of the back of the thighs and letting go of the legs as you bring a bend back into the knees and the soles of the feet rest onto the earth once again. One last movement before we come into Shavasana tonight. We're going to do a bridge pose. If you're not familiar with bridge pose, we're going to walk our heels in as close as we can to our glutes. We're going to take our fingertips down off to our side, so our hands are by our hips, and then we walk our hands forward just a little bit. See if you can actually touch your heels with your fingertips. Here with bridge pose, we're going to inhale and lift our hips off the ground while pushing down through our hands. We're going to rest our weight on our shoulder blades and not our neck. So let's do this together. We're going to inhale and lift our hips and our glutes off the mat, resting our weight on our shoulder blades, creating a bridge of space underneath us while pressing down with our hands. And exhale, send the hips down towards the earth once again. And we'll do that one more time. So pressing your hands into the earth with an inhale, lifting up with your hips and your glutes off the mat, resting your body's weight on your shoulder blades. And then exhale, go ahead and rest your hips and glutes back onto the mat. Let's send our feet down straight and straighten our legs here. We're going to take our arms out to the side and bring them down to the side of our body and come into our final resting pose of this evening. With Shavasana, the idea of Shavasana is the final resting pose where we let all those movements sink into our body and where we just bring our mind back to a state of awareness and presence by focusing on our breath, focusing on maybe the gratitude of all that your body has done tonight, focusing on letting the mat underneath you support your body and just letting yourself just have a few more minutes before you get up and start the movements again. We'll be here for just a few minutes. Noticing your breath on the edges of your nostrils as you inhale and exhale. Maybe noticing the breeze on your skin or the heat of the sun wherever you are. Stay here as long as you want to in this Shavasana pose, and I want to be respectful of people's time, so we do have to take a deep inhale here if you can. Exhale. Inhale, reach the fingertips up and over the top of your head, making your body as long as possible, reaching your toes out and down, fingertips back. And then exhaling, maybe rolling off to your right side or left side of your body, using your arm as a pillow momentarily. And then transitioning your body to a seated position when you're ready. I'm going to read this quote by a lady named Miranda Anderson. She said, "Creating space by getting rid of things that no longer serve you invites possibility, opportunity, and more space for love." So you want to take that idea of creating space into your life this week and create space in whatever way you can, through stretching, through getting rid of stuff, through just getting rid of thoughts and beliefs that don't serve you anymore. Give it a try. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. Once again, from my heart to yours, I totally honor the determination and strength that it took to come here tonight. It's hard to get places sometimes. So thank you for coming and being with me, and I hope you come back another Monday in the future too. So namaste, have a great rest of your week. If anybody wants to donate to my yoga tip jar, it is up here. It is not expected, but it's always accepted with love. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Come talk if you want to. I like talking.